And today, we've got a really fascinating subject to unpack together. We're exploring the review analysis of a book called The Architecture of the Mind, The Logos-Centered Psychology, written by S.C. Sayles. So what's at the heart of this book? Well, S.C. Sayles raises a bold and pretty provocative question. Has psychology forgotten its soul? For millennia, people have tried to understand the mind, what makes us tick, why we feel the way we do, what shapes our beliefs and desires, and Sayles says, hey, originally psychology was about the psyche, our inner life, our soul, but now it's mostly about brain chemistry, behaviour, and data. Is something lost when we take the soul out of the science? That's the core issue, and it's a big one because it cuts to how all of us understand ourselves and each other. Sayles doesn't just argue that we're missing something, though. Instead, he offers a sweeping vision, a total reconstruction of psychology rooted in what he calls a logos-centered model. I know you're probably wondering, what does that mean? The logos for Sayles is the eternal word, the very foundation of meaning, truth, and reality, based in biblical thought. So his psychology is built on the assertion that the human mind or soul is fundamentally shaped in relation to this divine logos. Okay, so why does this matter for listeners? Well, it gets at a basic question. What does it really mean to be a person? Are we just collections of neurons and habits? Or is there an irreducible core, not just mental processes, but something deeper, something rooted in meaning and maybe even destiny? Even if you're totally secular, it's kind of, humbling to pause and consider what's being left out when psychology becomes all about statistics and scans. And if you're more spiritually inclined, this is probably like, wow, finally somebody's putting the soul back in the conversation. Now, Sayles' method is, well, pretty distinctive. He doesn't offer a casual mashup. Instead, his system is constructed like a logical building. Each proposition depends on what's come before. So, for example, what we can say about psychology depends on how we define human nature and purpose. He pulls in a lot: Hebrew anthropology, Greek philosophies, medieval theologians, Enlightenment thinkers, modern clinical psychology, and he tries to show that throughout history, mental health has been about more than function. It's about truth and harmony with reality, especially as defined by the Logos. The review really dives into some key constructs. There's this idea of the second Shemay, a sort of higher dimensional domain of the mind. There's the information field that's about the ordering structure of reality, and then the entropy of the soul. This is big, where mental disorder or distress is seen as a kind of disorganization, when our perspective is misaligned with what's, well, really true. Sayles suggests that not only neuroscience, but also culture, philosophy, even clinical methods need to be reframed through this metaphysical lens. Another interesting thing, he doesn't reject modern psychology or clinical approaches, but instead suggests that if we treat mental disorder as just symptoms, we miss the deeper picture. Health, in his system, is about restoring the soul's alignment with ultimate truth. And, okay, maybe I'm veering into side territory here, but it reminds me of how sometimes we try to fix surface problems without asking deeper questions. What are the implications for you, the listener, whether you're a clinician, a student, or just someone curious about your own mental life? The review argues that any claim about what's healthy or disordered is built on a foundational vision of reality, even if that vision goes unspoken. Sayles' model is pretty explicit. He shows his cards, so to speak. If you share his worldview, you might find this a powerful, integrated approach. If you don't, you might still appreciate that the metaphysical cards are on the table, not hidden.